Surprise, surprise. Donald Trump's allies dutifully lined up to attack the Manhattan District Attorney this week, blindly following his lead after his completely inaccurate prediction that he'd be arrested on Tuesday. Of course, as we all know, the former president has not been arrested. It seemed to matter to some Republicans who went on the attack anyway.
Your thoughts on the possible indictment of former President Trump?
I'm sorry to say, completely political exercise.
What we're witnessing is what I call the criminalization of politics.
I think it's disgusting. I think it's terrible for our country. It's bad for America generally.
Organization of the federal government and departments against political opponents.
The tough part is with a local DA presidential politics. If that starts right there, don't you think it'll happen across the country?
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy also relevant committees to immediately investigate. Congressman Jim Jordan, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, you've probably heard of him, was not going to let this opportunity pass him by. And by Monday, he was on the case. He sent a letter to Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg demanding that he provide documents, testimony, and communications from his investigation of the former president. When Bragg refused, Jordan went even further. In a letter yesterday, he said to Congress might take steps to, quote, protect former current presidents from politically motivated prosecutions by state and local officials by somehow removing certain criminal cases for a pretty serious threat in some sternly written letters. After all, if House Republicans could assert authority over an ongoing criminal investigation at the state level anytime they wanted, and if they could protect former presidents from local prosecutions anytime they wanted, well, that would be extraordinary power there. But I'm not freaking out about what Kevin McCarthy or Jim Jordan are doing and what they're up to, because I'm not sure they've really thought this through. For one, these Republicans have gone out on a limb, way out on a limb. And from a legal perspective, experts point out that Jim Jordan and his colleagues are overestimating their power, including my guest I just had on the show, the former General of the United States. And the former counsel to the House Judiciary Committee also pointed out this week. Congress cannot lawfully to engage in law enforcement, he wrote. He also wrote that even if they resort to a subpoena, any subpoena should be unenforceable. To that point, the Manhattan is rightfully holding his ground. Yesterday, his office accused Jordan of interfering in a pending, quote, this unprecedented inquiry serves only to hinder, disrupt, and undermine prosecutors. In addition to Jim Jordan's precarious, and that's being generous, legal argument, he doesn't exactly have the best track record lately of delivering on his promise. He's not really a Sherlock Holmes. Weaponization of the federal government, which was launched just after Republicans took control of the House last November. For Jim Jordan, this whole thing was a dream opportunity to finally reveal all of the deep state corruption at the FBI and Department of Justice that he'd been talking about for years. He was talking a pretty big game about what he had up his sleeve.
We're going to get into what's going on at the FBI, where we've had 14 whistleblowers come to us about the weaponization of government there. I tell you what, dozens of whistleblowers have come talk to Republican staff on the Judiciary Committee. Come talk to us. And remember, Laura, we've had now over dozens of FBI agents come to us as whistleblowers. Dozens and dozens of whistleblowers, FBI agents coming to us, talk about what's going on, the political nature at the Justice Department.
But of the dozens and dozens, Jordan was only able to produce 3. And it turned out they weren't really whistleblowers at all. In fact, they weren't even really credible witnesses. That was according to a Democrat report, which revealed that none of those witnesses provided anything of substance at all. Instead, they endorsed conspiracy vaccines and the outcome of the 2020 election. And if that all wasn't bad enough, the report also exposed how 2 of the witnesses were basically bought and paid for by former Trump officials. You can't make it up sometimes. So again, on shaky legal ground, they also haven't shown themselves to be the most competent investigators. The thing is, they've never been about proving their wild actions about the DOJ, the FBI, or the District Attorney of Manhattan. And don't take my word for it. Here's Jim Jordan just last year.
Those to be investigated, just so you have the truth. Plus, that will help frame up the 2024 race, when I hope and I think President Trump is going to run again, and we need to make sure that he wins.
We need to make sure that he wins. He's telling you exactly what he's addressing. Real issues people are facing across the country, from immigration to gun violence to an impending default on our debt coming up in the next few months. They're fixated on. But for now, I wouldn't freak out about what they're up to or what the potential is, because so